Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Old World Paranormal Podcast. We are on episode 81. And before we started recording, we had an interesting conversation because our guest today is apparently made it in the social media world, and someone has cloned his account. And I was talking to someone that is not our guest. Fortunately, we did not record that, so that is not saved for all posterity and everybody to see. However, our guest today, well, Nick, you're going to say something. What do you got to say? Say it.
I automatically assumed you
Oh,
pissed
there
him
you
off
go.
somehow.
I did
He
too.
blocked you.
Maybe I was talking about my hating the demon ghost hunters and all that, and I thought maybe I pissed him off, but apparently not. Apparently we're good, and wasn't talking to who I thought I was talking to. But anyway, our guest today did manage to take some time out of his evening to join us on the show regardless, and we're pretty happy about that. From one of my favorite shows, uh, out of all the shows out there, this is one of my favorites. And Ghost Hunters International, not a very long-lived program. He was on for several years, but there's so much stuff in other countries that I wish it would have gone on for a lot longer because the cast was great, the locations were amazing, um, and now we can just go back to the places that it's on right now and
He's
relive the old
really
episodes.
he's really kissing your ass now, Rob.
No, I'm being dead serious because coming up in October, we've got Barry Fitzgerald coming on too. So we're getting the old GHI cast back together here on the
Where's
Old World
Chin?
Paranormal Podcast. Huh?
Where's Chin?
I don't know. Last time I saw Joe Chin
I
was here in
Joe
Fort
Chin
Wayne.
popped up production. Joe Chin popped up. He out of nowhere, like after years of silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw him at the convention in Fort Wayne a few years ago. He was there and got to spend a little time with him. He was pretty cool too. Maybe I'll reach out to him. But anyway, tonight is not about Joe Chin. Tonight is
It
not
is
about Barry
all
Fitzgerald.
about this guy right
It
here.
is all about tonight's guest, Robb Demarest. And if you have not seen him, what the hell is wrong with you? You can catch him on Ghost Hunters International, Haunting Australia, even an episode of Destination Truth with Josh Gates. And you can watch Ghost Hunters International and everything from Max to Peacock, YouTube, Amazon Prime, all that good stuff. Rob, thanks for taking the time out to join us on the show. Is this really you? I guess I should ask that.
That's
You know,
true.
after the big debacle that we just went through, is this really you? I mean, you got a poster in back of you that says Robb Demarest, but I could do that too.
Yeah, that is absolutely the height of egomania to have your own old banner in your office.
It
Thank
doesn't
you guys
say
for
as seen on
having
Ghost
me.
Hunters International on it though, so
It does on this one. It says, as seen on Ghost Hunters International, Haunting Australia. I was on Seekers in Malaysia, Destination Truth, Ghost Hunters, Against Superstition on Z News in India, Kitchen Nightmares on Fox, Premiere Impacto, and Univision TV. That, and I created the Chiller Real Fear 1 and 2 series with Katrina Weidman.
Katrina.
Katrina, I love Katrina.
Katrina.
Yep. Chip Coffee's on there as well. Like it's some back in the day. Zaffis, we had Zaffis on there. It's actually I'm proud of the first one. Almost no one's seen it, of course, but it's got to be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a real fear, the truth behind the movies. Go see Katrina in between Paranormal State and her other big shows.
Right, right.
Paranormal State, my all-time favorite show out of all of them.
It's a fantastic show. It had its flaws, but we all do, right? I love the show. I've seen every episode at least twice.
Yep.
Um, I think that they did a unique take that hasn't been. It was very artistically shot as well. It was like watching a mini movie.
Right.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. You know, the I'm still cool with some of them, but there's some people that you wind up in that don't meet your heroes
Yeah.
box. You know what I mean? And that happens on every show.
Right.
Right, right.
Do you think a show
Yeah, I
like
mean you gotta meet Barry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, we've got him on the podcast next month. Really looking forward to that one.
We all have our crosses to bear.
Right.
Right.
Do you think a show like Paranormal State, because Paranormal State is different than I think any of the other shows that followed it, because it was personal, it was confined to one space, and it basically showed what a home investigation should be like. Do you think nowadays that a show like that would be successful on TV? Or do
None.
you think it'd be considered
Look, I'm
boring
going to
today?
say there's absolutely no way that shows like GHI and Paranormal State could exist in this environment. I take that back. Boom. I'm already going back on my own word. GHI could exist, and I'll tell you why GHI could still pull it off. Not absolutely. It's actually not because of me or any of the cast. It's not because of any evidence we captured. It's just the locations. If you started a show tomorrow and every week you go to a haunted place in a new country, you're going to get ratings.
Yep.
100%. Somebody could duplicate that show, but then everyone goes, yeah, but who wants to put that much money into ghost hunting anymore? We've kind of milked that one dry. So Paranormal State, you see where they're at now is much different. Not all of them, but some of them. Normally, I try not to be guarded, and I'll just, it just seems like I don't like people doing you got some people who, and I'm not going to name them, then why bring it up? If their name is key to the story, then don't tell the story if you can't drop the name.
Right.
Right.
I agree with that.
Look, the greatest thing that's ever going to happen to any of us is that when we pass to the next adventure, it is my belief, personal belief, that we will be back again and we'll get it right next time, or at least try and improve a little bit next go round. But I believe there's a time in between for all of us. But what if you get to that time? And this is what it is all getting to, is what if you came to that time in between trips and they said, hey, Zach was legit. Let that one settle in.
How do you even reply to that question?
But think about it. Could you imagine they're like, you told everyone and their mother that dude was fake. He was 100% legitimate.
Well, no, it's not the fake. It's not necessarily the fakeness and what he's turned into. It's the fucking arrogance. It's taking something that is so pure and genuine, being the paranormal community, and having to make it into some fucking production the way they do it now. That's the big problem. If you go back to the beginning, Rob, when it was just them three.
Oh, you calling out names? He threw the first stone. When someone drops your name like that, they're calling you out, just for everyone at home.
So I'll call Zach Bagans out every day.
No future interruptions. You said, now listen here, Rob. Now, sorry to interrupt. Why don't you shut your mouth for a second, Rob, and listen up?
Yeah, Rob, fucking listen here, buddy. No, look, partly what we were talking about before we went on air, and you said, hey, who the fuck wouldn't want to be this guy? He's got $50-some million. He is a creative genius in the fact that he took something that's already been, platformed, a few different times on a major television network and switched up the game. Now, granted, initially it was not his idea, but he eventually took over and it became the Zach Show. Okay.
Guys, I always compliment his business acumen. First of all, because you use my name, I'm a fire bite right back at you, bro. Hamage, as Aaron would say. I could never get him to say it. I tried an entire weekend at a convention. I was like, please say it on the show. Can't, bro. I was like, Hamage. No. Anyway, I just made Aaron into an 80s stoner for some reason.
Well, you
But
know.
here's part one of to respond to what you said. Part one: do you believe that there was staged evidence? I've seen this now routinely post Nick Groff incident, we'll call it. Post that, a lot of people say it's almost like they don't want to get caught. You know what I mean? For believing, for buying it for so long. They go, "Oh, Zach's changed, man. He's not the same anymore." When he did the pilot, right, that movie, the Ghost Adventures movie, do you, either of you, believe that the brick flying at him off the pile, that the camera just happened to be aimed at the pile of bricks, do you believe that was legitimate, incredible paranormal evidence?
Are you talking about the initial pilot episode that
The
they
movie, the
the
Ghost
movie?
Adventures movie pilot.
I have not seen any movie pilot for Ghost Adventures.
It was a small room. They had the cameras aim, not aimed toward it, but looking that direction, and a brick came. I believe it was from left to right, and ended up in the middle of the room.
Here, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's got the following. He's got the money. He's got the networks behind it. It don't matter what the fuck he does on TV.
But wait a second. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. So he did something real simple. Those of us, this small group of people that do it too, go, we hate you, Zach. But he really just went, sorry, guys, but I looked at what was missing from the market. Shows like Ghost Hunters were doing real well, but not as well as they could have been if you found better evidence and made them scarier.
Right.
So he took that business concept and he made a show and he said, we'll find ghosts every time for you. I'm not a ghost hunter. I don't care. And the network said, great idea. And it worked. And so, yeah, a little tiny bit of us are mad and we stomp around. But the majority of Zach's audience tune in to turn the lights off, have some popcorn, and watch the show. Whether it's real or fake, they don't care that much.
They don't care.
The rest of us go, oh, that bastard. He doesn't care. He's laughing at the bank. You know what I mean? If you give me $100, I'd call him the world's greatest ghost hunter.
I go woo that bastard.
No, hold on. You didn't catch that. What did you just call him? The world's greatest ghost hunter, right?
Yeah.
Not paranormal investigator, which is fine. But here's my thing.
Are we going for the ghost hunter paranormal investigator debate?
There's a world of difference.
There's also entertainers.
There's the term ghost hunter has been around since the late 1800s. Harry Price, et cetera, et cetera. So the fact that people say, well, hunting gives it a bad taste in your mouth, like you're chasing and killing a ghost. Well, if you're house hunting, you're not hunting down and killing a house. We're searching, hunting for ghosts. Paranormal investigators are open to all realms of the paranormal, and I've met very few ghost hunters who would meet that criteria.
I can't argue with your opinion.
Well, no, of course not. My thing with Zach Bagans is this, and it's on the opposite end of the spectrum about what we're talking about. My thing is this, and I've said this many, many times. The show started out great. First few seasons were great. The biggest concern that I have as a paranormal investigator is that kids or young adults that are watching Ghost Adventures and have aspirations or thoughts of being a paranormal investigator and actually getting out and doing this for a hobby, for a career, whatever the case may be. If you're watching episodes of Ghost Adventures now, you're getting the wrong impression about what paranormal investigating is. You're not going to walk into an abandoned house and get scratched by a demon and get possessed and all this crazy stuff that happens on the show. You're giving a wrong impression about what to expect. Whereas on the other hand, something like Ghost Hunters or Ghost Hunters International gives you a truer vision and a truer explanation of what to expect. Although a week's worth of investigation compiled into 42 minutes of television, but you're getting a more accurate representation. And the fear is that these kids are going to watch this show. And you see it now, I'm sure, with the satanic panic of 2023. Everything's about demons now.
Mhm.
You go to YouTube, scratched by a demon, attacked by a demon. We encountered a demon. No, the fuck you didn't. And we have had enough people on this show. We've had Vatican recognized exorcists. We've had all kind of people on our show that have explained to us that your odds of ever encountering a demonic entity are so incredibly small that if you did, you would know it, and you probably would never recover from it. But people are getting the wrong idea, and this whole demon thing, I think, is kind of coming from shows like that and coming from what Zach does. Now, I understand it's at this point it's entertainment. We can look at it as entertainment, but to some 15-year-old kid sitting on his couch watching Ghost Adventures at night saying, "Hey, I want to do this one day," he's got it all wrong. And that's the problem I have.
You're giving one, first of all, number one, you're 1,000 every word you said is accurate. But, point blank, period. That is the way it is right now. Mm-hmm. I have one differentiation that I personally would make, that yes, the greater danger is with younger, impressionable minds, but the scary part is the people our age who stick to it even stronger. Someone at 15 could still go, "Oh, that show was all made up." Right. But the person who's going out and buying every piece of crap he sees on Ghost Adventures and going, "The ghost told me slap it, tick about," and it sounded to me like, "You better run before we kill you." Like, they've ruined the field. Let's be honest. The field of ghost hunting or paranormal investigation, the people who came in who said, "I'm going to do what I saw on TV," once Ghost Adventures got popular, that was out the window. Everyone who came in who didn't know how said, "Well, why?" I use this analogy, and then I'll shut up for probably 8 to 12 seconds. If I watch one of these gold digging, you ever seen like the gold digging shows up in Alaska? Oh, yeah. They're entertaining, right? You see the one kid's running it, and you go, "That kid's a little prick. I'd knock him in the mouth." It's fun, right? But I watch it, and they go, "God damn it, we thought we'd only need a 22 titanium, but shoot, hole like that, you're gonna hit an 8-footer." I'm sitting at home going, "Oh, guys know what they're talking about. Yeah, 22 titanium seems like the way to go indeed." Whatever they say, I go, they know what they're talking about. That's what these guys do. What the hell do I know? So it's the same thing. If you watch Ghost Adventures, you watch what they do and you say, well, that's how you talk to ghosts. You spin a radio, you take a box and make it say random words associated with a haunting. Now you're talking, and that's where I take the danger. You mentioned the danger to impressionable youth. My concern is people who are we all lose loved ones, unfortunately. Is people who are buying into that stuff. Mm-hmm. Until you've gotten enough emails where they say, "Hey man, my mother passed away last week and I caught this picture and it's obviously a piece of dust." Well, what do? Do I tell that guy, "That's not your mom, dumbass"? Yeah. Yep. Or do I guess when I get something like that, so when I see all these people now, but they got entire hours of footage of them talking to a radio that's just giving them slurs. Or they take an Xbox camera that's no different than any infrared camera except for its mapping software, and they say, "It's dancing again. God damn it, it's dancing again. Now there's 2 of them dance. Look at them dance. Woo, woo, woo. Ghosts love dancing. Ghosts love dancing."
I fucking love this dude.
The funny part.
I mean, like, come on, man.
The funny part of what he just said about the ghosts dancing.
Everybody, the first time they saw it, right? Tell me we all didn't do this. The first time you saw it, you said, "Oh my God, I'm getting one of."
Oh, I'm not saying shit. I'm fucking guilty of it. I got $10,000.
I was counting the quarters in my pocket. I was like, they found ghosts. They just love acting like MC Hammer. I mean, like, so now, and it goes back to my day. thermal cameras are very specific if you want to use them for the paranormal. This wander around and then look in the mirror and go, what the fuck? Shut up. If you, people say, do you see this image in the thermal? I say, oh, that's crazy. Were there any windows around or mirrors? This is what everyone tells you, right? Yeah, but it couldn't have been XYZ. Really? You sure? This is a true. One woman writes me and she said, look at this picture of my husband took of a ghost. Okay. There's a woman in a picture getting her picture taken. Behind her on the steps is a ghost. Cool. I looked at it. I'd seen it before. Not that picture, but, similar. I'd seen that ghost before. Then I wrote back. Yeah, your husband's having some fun with you. He used one of those apps to add a ghost to the picture. It is almost verbatim. You effing think you know so effing much. You can go F yourself. My husband's not a liar. You effing are.
You send a picture to somebody and you get an honest
Ask for
fucking
their
answer.
opinion.
You get your the honest opinion from this person. You don't fucking like it, and you're just gonna go off on it. That makes
so I mean, it's like, so we all, this is my problem with the idea of para-unity. If we're going to get down to verbiage and talk about, and I understand the conceptual difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator. I know why that exists. Being on a show like Ghost Hunters International, it's a little late in the game for me to be like, we're ghost hunting? What kind of bullshit term is that? But, I mean, it's a weird thing, and it comes down to, I don't know where we go from here. I tend to lose faith that and it's kind of what we got to, that Zach and his ilk haven't flooded the field with so much crap that you can't argue. I'll give you a for example, and I want you guys' honest opinion. This isn't a setup. This debate happens daily, but I have a very smack myself in the mouth opinion on it. Does the first rule of thermodynamics present a strong theory and evidence of the existence of the afterlife? Yes or no, gentlemen? And good.
I always base it off, do I want to show my clients this footage and say, this is paranormal evidence, this is evidence of an entity, this is evidence of a spirit? And I would say no.
So wait a second, but so you're saying when everyone dies, man, thermodynamics says that energy has to go somewhere. Well, gee, yeah, yep, agreed. I'm not arguing thermodynamics. What we're saying is, I actually had a guy, and he's on my friends list. I hope he watches it, because I'll be straight up. He responded to me, and we were kind of going back and forth. And I said that thermodynamics was a pretty damn big stretch. And here's what people say. They say, well, energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. That's absolutely correct. When you die, you give off oxygen, you give off carbon, you give off all sorts of chemicals and gases. Where the hell did you get a spirit out of that? Hey, look, I tore a piece of paper in half. The paper spirit's running around in here. That's a stretch. I'm not saying it doesn't prove it, but that's not good enough. And this person said, well, I don't know what your beliefs are. Well, no. You have to choose between, are we talking about beliefs, or are we talking about something measurable? Because I'm talking about something measurable. Because when someone dies, I can measure what the changes in the air are, et cetera, et cetera. Where I believe the spirit went, that's belief. There's no connecting evidence to say, look, 20 Zorgons are created when someone dies, and you see those Zorgons drift out the window, and then they come back as a Zorgonog ghost. By the way, that term is copywritten. Either of you use it, and I will hunt you down. It's not a goddamn game anymore, folks.
I'll send you my fucking address.
No, I wish you would. Hey, you ever been doxxed? I
Docs?
thought about some. This is a great question for a podcast because all right, so my internet's been out all weekend, so I'm like way too like dorky old man trying to be hip dude right now. Like, oh, Theo Vaughn is so savage. Like I'm that dude for the past couple days. Like, so I was thinking about it. I was like, what if I do the podcast tonight, right? And I just drop the bomb. Just bombshell everything. I mean, lay waste to the paranormal entertainment field. Like, say, here's where the bodies are buried, and here's who dug the grave, motherfucker. And but here's what's interesting about it. Like here, and I want your honest opinions because I didn't come to a formation over time. Does that help or hurt your broadcast, your podcast? Let's give it a 6-month window. So a week later,
talking
That's a
about
good point. That is a really good point. Like, I gotta really think about this.
Like I name someone, I say, this individual explained to me how they staged evidence.
Right.
And I name names, multiple shows. And I put everyone's business on blast, everyone in the street. So at first, everyone's like, your ratings are through the roof, right?
Right. They want to see, okay, ratings go through the roof. They want to see Rob have a meltdown on the podcast and drop a bombshell.
Yeah.
Then this is no different than you're on a social media platform and somebody is always fucking pissed about somebody doing this, doing that, doing this. And then they turn around and be like, I'm not about the drama. I'm not about this. I'm not about that. Well, actually, you are. Because you're still posting about it. You saying, well, I don't have problems with anybody. I have drama, this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're still bringing it up.
So
what? There's no outcome. Like, okay, Rob, let's say you did come on here and you drop.
Your show becomes in the paranormal realm. Your podcast becomes the must watch for the next month, at least, right? But then what happens after that?
I mean,
it doesn't really matter to us, honestly.
I don't care for me. Like, who cares? Because everyone would listen. I know how it goes.
Right.
He's just bitter. He's a scumbag. I heard things about him. What you didn't hear is me not knocking you out. So be careful with your lips because you want to keep them. But people piss me off. I mean, me, if I drop bombs, I don't care. I don't because those same people, not that they've ever threatened or we've got something on you, is it's just a bad look to be talking about like personal stuff, things that were said like, I heard, Jim has an opium problem. That's not a good look to be spreading shit like that around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the drama you're talking about. Leave that, what's that have to do with whether, I'm a good ghost hunter or investigator? What's your problem with my methodology? Well, no, I heard that we never met. Yeah, but somebody knew a guy who told me you, man, shut up.
Well, if somebody comes on this podcast and they have some kind of evidence like that they want to drop, I don't think that would be a negative thing because that there's somebody out there who knows stuff like that and they're just holding back and not saying anything. How it affects our podcast is not a big deal to us. Nick and I aren't doing this podcast to get rich and famous.
Yeah, that's why I do everything. Turns out since GHI, it's all failed. I have not become rich nor famous, but I'm going to keep trying.
So you're trying to tell me you didn't make $1 million per episode on GHI?
Oh my God, they had me. If you look up my worth right now, and I send it to my friends, I'm like, yo, it's not that funny. Slow down. They're like, Robb Demarest is valued at 7 million. Shut the front door. Come on, man. Y'all really do not know what. Understand something that I'll break it down. I will give everyone this much because I'm not saying anything that people couldn't find out or guess.
It's gone down to 900,000, bro. Sorry.
What? Dude, now that's actually like a real number. It had nothing to do with GHI, but I was well over 900,000 in my prime. But that was from another job. Um, but reality TV pays well if your show is a breakout hit and you get renewed past season 3. So if you don't make it to that point and you're not like a really known figure, they're just putting you on a new show, you make pennies. You lose money. Most jobs would pay you more than that.
Yeah. I mean, being in this, being in the paranormal field, not quite as long as you have, Rob, but I understand the fact of keeping your mouth shut. You want to say something so fucking bad, and you want to drop the bombs because you know the truth. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because people are still going to look at you in a negative light. Even though you were completely wronged, or in that aspect, it really doesn't fucking matter anymore. You just kind of gotta like let it fucking go and move on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's take a look. Let's be real. I took just hellfire, and I knew it was coming for saying that Ghost Adventures was fake. This is well over a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got blasted. And they said, and I get why they said it, because I probably said it about other people in different situations. Oh, he's just bitter. He's mad now. Oh, you out of the limelight. You weren't saying that when you were on TV. Now you got a problem with Zach. All right, point well taken. They had me there. But Nick Groff comes out and does it 10 years after it, and everyone's like, that guy's a friggin' hero, man. We love you, Nick. Shut the front door again. Come back in, leave, and shut my front door two times. Like, come on, man. So here's the reality is if I said it right now, I said, here's the show, here's the show, here's the show. Neither of you would say, no, not such and such. Because deep down, you said, I think most people of intelligence would say, on any quote, there is no reality show. That's number one. Number two, when you're doing a paranormal show, especially, um, they're going to need. Look, you know what's a crap show? The 7 hours where nothing happened on an investigation.
Right.
You know what's entertaining? Watching this. So, I know I asked you about 45 minutes ago, but want to tell us your name? Nope. Still no, huh? I'm here out of that. Nobody's watching that.
Okay. You have a fucking valid point. But in 2023, in the paranormal, it's the age of social media, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, where people that I know will go and they'll be live on several platforms where they just put up still cameras and let it run. And these fucking people are getting millions of views of people popping in and watching the room. Then nothing
That's
changes.
smart.
No,
Smart.
it is smart. So I mean, if you want to credit Zach in the way what he did, gotta credit these TikTokers and YouTubers.
I will. Look, that dude. He broke the bank.
Yeah.
Everyone after Zach said, we're going to make the next big Ghost Adventures. Cricket. There has been no big new ghost hunters, no big new Ghost Adventures. Those guys are the only two left of the old school big dogs. It's down to two. You know what I mean? So, like, when he did it, nobody could replicate it. And then people said, well, I don't need a network. And it's really kind of brilliant, right? They say, I don't need a network. Shoot, I got an internet connection and video camera. And then people start like spicing it up and like using you had better videographers and editing. And you watch some of this stuff, and I'm like, that's better than shows I've done, like network shows I've done.
Yeah.
And now it's gone so far. This is like I'm becoming honestly that old dude that's like, hey guys, back in my day, we'd say, you know what I mean? But that's really like stupid phone piece of crap. Let's see if it powers back up here. If you can't tell, this opium makes me a little distracted, or so the missus tells me.
Do your thing, brother.
No, I'm just no, I had a Walmart delivery. Hey, you guys want a question?
Do we want a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
Of course.
You just got one. Boom.
But
I don't know where the hell that came from. My mind was clearly elsewhere on that one. You know, to keep it on topic, I would definitely, whenever people ask me about the paranormal, I always say to them, boom, it's this simple. Knock knock.
Yeah. Well,
who's there?
Your podcast sucks. I say knock knock. One guy says yeah, and the other guy goes, well, you know, another thing in the news, we're keeping an eye on the weather down in Florida. Knock knock. We're playing the damn game, guys. It's just the three of us right now. We playing the game. Knock knock.
Who's there?
I want your honest opinion about something.
All right, you can get that next. Europe.
You're a boo.
You are banned. All right, now I'll give you my honest opinion. Grandkids love it.
And you gotta answer this honestly.
Sure.
There's only two shows on TV, still network TV. Both these shows have their own production companies.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's correct. That's the question? Yes.
No. I'm gonna ask you
think
this.
I'm lying? They're not the same production company.
No, they're not the same production company. One has their own, one has their other.
But
they
you
control.
Just said, no, that wasn't honest.
No, it's not what I meant. Take another hit.
Go ahead, man. So they each
do
have
they
their own...
both? And I know who you know I'm talking about. Do they both push the limits of putting the evidence on TV, even though there's nothing there, even though one has a reputation of not doing that?
Do they what? Do they fight their production companies?
No, fake it.
Huh? Does the production company fake it? There was one show, I'll give you this example, which is an honest answer. There's a popular show here and there that we did touch upon briefly, that they had their production company review their evidence, and then or review their footage and give back anything that seemed paranormal. And I thought, wow, that doesn't work. Imagine going to a TV production company and saying, look, if you find anything, you better make sure it's legit, because if it's not, your ratings are going to be huge. They are going to find evidence all day, every day. You want an honest answer? This is what people want to know, and I'll give it to you fully honestly. Was I ever asked by a production company to fake evidence? The answer unequivocally is no.
Yeah.
Fingers not crossed. Never, ever, ever, ever.
So not even on GHI?
No. The executive producer yelled at me a number of times. I love the guy, but he couldn't stand me back then. But it was never about like faking evidence. It was about me looking bored on investigations. Well, he had a great analogy. I've told this story before, but so I'll make it quick, but it's still good. He said, here's the problem with you, Rob. And I said, any sentence that starts like that, Rob, his name's Rob as well. I said, any sentence that starts with that can't be good. He said, anyway. I said, damn, it's like being on your podcast. They boom, bang. So he said, here's the problem I've got with you. When I watch you on these shows, or on the footage, he says, you look bored. You look like a TV repairman. And he said, and this was the point that I said, oh, he nailed it. He said, you know why people watch TV? I said, go ahead, dude. I didn't say that. I wasn't that tough. He's a little guy, but boy, would he yell at me. It was funny. Anyway, so I said, no, why is that? He said, because they're bored. You watch TV because you're bored. If they turn through their hundreds of choices and see you looking bored, someone at home bored doesn't want to sit at home watching you looking bored, especially when you're doing something that they would give their life savings for.
Yeah.
And I said, in between tears, I managed to get out, yeah, but I do funny stuff. I joke around and you never show it. And he just kind of, he's really pissed off at me for looking bored. And I said, like you show Josh Gates, and this was a classic line. He said, yeah, the difference is Josh Gates is funny. Oh, Ultimo burn. So that was, he did get me there. But I, and what it brings me around to actually, this is a true thing from yesterday. Do you guys watch Stranger Things?
Yeah.
I've seen the first season.
Yep. I've seen them
Okay.
all.
So what's really interesting for me is I watched a fan's reaction video to an episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, for me, gave me like so much insight into the way that the Duffy brothers were like, they get you upset and then you give you a sigh of relief just to hit you with the even bigger, and I was like, that's what Rob was talking about.
Right.
Like you're creating a moment that people can go, I mean, people were in tears. They're just bawling their eyes out.
Yeah.
You put time into these people. You care about these imaginary people. Say they're imaginary. So is Aunt Lucy that you never met in person. She's as imaginary as fictional characters. I probably know the people on Friends better than half my relatives. But you know what you always say? Can anyone really know Chandler? Yo, guys, we just got a name for the episode. Boom. See, that's what happens when you hang out with me is things go easy all of a sudden.
Well, I'm already putting Europe Who in the title.
Europe.
Europe Who.
So, I just got one more thing about GHI, and then I'm kind of done with it.
So am I. I don't get residuals.
What? Now, when GHI came out, okay, so when Ghost Hunters came out, I was like, oh my God, this is fucking cool. There's people out here actually like real life ghost hunting. And then GHI came out and I was like, oh, this is even fucking cooler. They're in Europe going to all these fucking cool places, And it's like, all right, eventually both shows lost their luster, but did Jason and Grant really have anything to do with the spinoff? I didn't think so.
No. And I think Jane Grant would say the same thing. Like we, I mean, look, let's be 100. Did we, I mean, he messed up my name in introducing his good friend. So
right.
When he goes, yeah, got my good friend Bob Demarest down in Florida. Nobody calls me Bob. So right away, people were like, you don't know him, do you? I was like, nope, never met him.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of that stuff was set up for story because
Yeah.
they wanted to pull viewers from. Why didn't they just name it Paranormal International? They wanted to try and grab the ghost hunters. So they were like, "Hey, look, it's Brian and Donna and Andy. Come on, everyone, come join us." Even though a lot of people forgot that those people had been gone from ghost hunters for some time by that point.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I mean they like the scenes where they're so stupid. And I've talked to Jay about it. We were like, that was so lame. Being like, "Hey Jay, how's everything? Hope those ghosts aren't spooking you too much." I got a faucet here that won't stop leaking. Do you think it's Casper? A leak? He says it's a leak. Come on, man. Like, like it was so they were looking for ties so bad. They're like, "Hey, is this Grant? We just found a toilet with a ghost turd in it. How do we know it's a ghost turd? How do we know? It's not a ghost turd. Just flush it." Like, come on, man. This was like simple stuff, And then they had us go to Spalding Inn. I was like, look, if they said, well, people will know it's not faked if GHI comes in and does it. Well, if you thought GH was fake, you probably thought GHI was fake too.
Right.
Like the only way they could have done that and never would have happened is if they said, "We're going to bring the PRS guys from Paranormal State in to investigate." And then they could say different production company, different interests. So
Right.
this is 100%. That being said, Jason pulled me aside and said, "Look, don't feel any pressure to like overdo anything. If nothing happens, nothing happens. Like it's just the nature of the beast." And people are like, "Yeah, but did he tell you to?" No, absolutely not. He did not tell me to find anything. Quite the opposite. People are like, "Oh, are you kissing his ass?" No, there ain't no love lost between myself and Mr. Hawes. We ain't
Right.
buddies. We don't go
Right.
golfing. I haven't talked to him. We haven't talked to each other in decades.
Right. No, my thought process. My understanding it now, years later. So GHI was just cast to be a different show, but
Yep.
they wanted to use the Ghost Hunter's name, so they tied in the ghost, Jay and Grant in there calling you about stupid shit when they really had nothing to do with it. But then you had some cast members on Ghost Hunters that were getting kind of flushed out, and they sent them over to GHI.
Yep. I mean, I don't know how anyone could say that. They were already out.
Yeah.
Let's get that clear. First of all, Andy, Brian, and Donna were already off the show by that point. People just breezed past that, but whatever. Worked out for
Well,
us.
the only one that really came back and forth was Dustin.
Yeah, and Dustin came later on. Barry had been on Ghost Hunters once, but yeah, it was a lot of people were like, "I prefer the way they do it. Taps wouldn't allow them to." We're not Taps. It was a different.
Right.
I'm not knocking what they did, and we did our thing. They did their thing. It wasn't the same team. It wasn't the same organization. I wasn't under Jason or vice versa. um.
So,
Oh, I see what you're doing there. So
since
what?
we're off,
Oh, you know why? You guys are right because I should have plugged my computer in. That's why it's not giving me any power. I hope everyone at home enjoys this nice shot of my crotch. That's free. That is not going to be on the OnlyFans.
it's all about
Hey,
Rob.
hey, would you guys do OnlyFans?
Oh man,
I'm
yeah.
not
If
built for that.
there's a
You,
demographic for short, fat Italian guys, hell yeah, fuck it, why not? It's free money.
there's a demo. If some of these women on there, not that I'm a big peruser, but if you can get by with just being like, "Here's a picture of my feet. Here's more of them. Look at jelly fell on those feet. Yum, yum." If you can make money on that, there is a market for all of us.
Ah, well, maybe I'll have to try it. Fuck it.
Oh dear Lord.
But why? But I mean, like, so I can understand. What I don't understand is the whole like. I think that we just have so many still weird. I'll be honest, I blocked someone tonight for doing a, you know, anti-gay post, and I was like, dude, man, I really don't have time for that.
Is that
Like
why
I
Sean
was,
got blocked?
huh?
Is that why Sean got blocked on your birthday?
Absolutely not.
Oh my God, the people at home missed the beginning of that story. So Sean was writing to a fake Rob on Facebook, and they started talking. What did you say about wrestling each other and sending pictures back and forth?
No, not
Except,
wrestling each other.
huh?
Not wrestling each other.
That's kind of
Like,
what we were getting
like
off
on
of that.
on whoever's Facebook this was, they posted something, a picture of a pro wrestler, and had a comment. And so I messaged back, I didn't know that you were into pro wrestling. And they were like, yeah, since I was a little kid. So
And then
I mean, I remember.
Sean said, "Send me a picture of you in your tights," and he
no,
does. And Sean sent him a
the
picture.
pictures I
Yeah.
sent were the graphics for the podcast, you douche.
No, I mean, like, we're not here to knock that. Like, some dudes, that's what I'm saying. Some dudes are into dudes. Some guys aren't. They just like the homoeroticism of touching. That's fine. There's a place for everyone to enjoy that.
Whatever floats your boat. Doesn't affect me in the slightest.
Mic drop on that one.
I mean, this dude apparently is going to beat me. This guy pretending to be me is going to beat me to OnlyFans. And I can only hope that he represents us both well.
Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of hard if he posted a picture of
I see what you did there.
his feet saying I'm Rob, and you're like, no, I'm the real fucking Rob. These are my feet. How you gonna prove it? So,
Because
better
the
get
guy
on
in the
there.
picture.
You better beat him to it. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I like. Would I do it? Would I do? No, and I'll tell you why. Because the only person I want to be with, I'm already with. You know what I mean? Like my significant other. I really have no desire to sexually be with anyone else. So I think people would get mighty bored of me, like just with the same person. You know, especially when she's yelling at me for eating. I'll make Doritos with melted cheese for lovemaking sessions, and apparently that is not normal. Since when? Like that's not a thing now. Sorry, guys.
No sour cream,
I see what you did there again.
bro.
You've got some weird references. I see where you're going. Make your own sour cream. Go ahead and say it. That's fucking
Welcome
gross.
to the Old World Paranormal Podcast.
But yeah, I mean, not saying you got to make love to these people or get a sexual erotification off of it. You're just sending them pictures of your feet to make some money.
I don't think erotification is a word. I think you just made that up.
I did make it up, but
No,
it sounded
just
really fucking
randomly
good.
Show up that word.
It's going to be
You're
added
like,
to Webster's
Look at
dictionary.
him with
next
the old.
I'm,
He got
that's
me
it.
writing the erotification over here.
Hold on, I gotta get on the trademark website. Hold on, I gotta trademark that.
Erotification. Look, if two guys are down with eradicating each other. Oh man. So
Rob, what do you do in your spare
I never
time?
got to the second part of the question, which is this. So I get it. I get it. I'm no spring chicken. So I know what the problems in the paranormal. The bigger question that we have as much luck finding evidence of ghosts as we do doing this, which is how do you fix it? So we all can sit and say the damage has been done and the shows are leading everyone astray. How do you fix that? And I really don't know. I don't know if it just like you wait a generation or 20 years and it changes. I don't know.
Somebody has to come up with a new concept.
No,
No,
no, I don't think so.
Whoa.
The fucking problem is too many fucking people are clicky and are scared to have the hard conversation and the real truth. That's the fucking problem. No, I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to risk my career of making that extra maybe $20,000, $50,000 a year on my 4 or 5 episodes or whatever the fuck it is. I'm not going to say anything, even though I know what you're saying is 100% true. And privately, I'm going to back you, but publicly, you're a moron. I can't say nothing.
How many times a day are you reading your Facebook and you go, God, that guy is so full of crap. I mean, it seems like it's 50% of posts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, whether it's paranormal, and I'm just sitting there going, it's either people fooling other people or people willingly being fooled. Because people, I don't mind admitting, if you guys came to me tomorrow and said, hey, remember all those episodes where you thought you were getting voices from the beyond that you called EVPs? It turns out it was from this, and you prove it.
Mm-hmm.
I would be the first one to come out and say, wow, I goofed that one up. EVPs, these guys showed me it's not legit.
Right.
I'm not going to stick to it and say, I'm going to go to war with you guys. And you see people doing that. You see people hanging on to techniques that have been like outed years ago, and they're still like, yeah, but you don't know. Yes, I do. Yes, I really do. And sometimes so do you. Like, say you're sitting in a room.
Yeah.
With, this is a great question. Believe me, you're sitting in a room with a host of the most popular paranormal ghost hunting show of all time. And you go, hey, man, I got a question. And he or she says, shoot. And you say to him or her, you say, was it worth it? I mean, you were lying to all these people, but you made this much money. Was it worth it? You know what would probably happen that creates the most surreal moment where it's like, why isn't ESP working? Is if that person sits there and says, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I never lied about a G darn thing. And you go, well, that's not that interesting. It doesn't. Yeah, but here's what the psychology that really amazes me is, you know, he's lying. He or she knows they're lying and knows that you know. Everyone, there's only two of you in the room and you both know. And I will give that and I think that's just crazy. Just the psychology of like, can you stop? Stop what? We know you faked it. You did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, like, we both know you did. You know, I went to an event, a paranormal convention, and I met some guys from one of the shows, a paranormal show who I hadn't met before. And their show was pretty in the beginning. Well, in the beginning, it seemed maybe legit. Later on in the season and the next season, it just got painful, right? I went up to one of the guys from the show and I said, all right, man, you got me. Because they canceled the show right at this like crazy pinnacle. So I said, all right, man, you win. What happens next? Like, what was going to be the outcome? How were you going to bring all this back together? You know, I mean, you've gone so far off the rails. This is dead serious. What did I just say? He says, the hell are you talking about? How do we know what would have happened? Cool.
Had the script.
Come on, man. Like, you had big, like, boom shots in the woods that was supposed. But here's the end of the story. So I go up to another guy from the same show, and I said the same thing, and he says, "Fuck if I know." Jesus H, we get an email, you know, every week that says this week, and we're looking at each other like, what the fuck? And it was just so bizarre that one person was like, we both know I'm lying, but I'm still going to deny it. And the other guy's like, yeah, you don't seem like an idiot. Of course it was like scripted. Like, it's beyond obvious. And what's funny is, I think that I don't want. I don't know why. Like anyone cares. Like, oh, you heard what Rob slipped up and said. Nobody cares anymore. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. But
I think I know what show you're talking about.
I think you do too. I could
I
see
think
it.
so
I
too.
could see it in the reaction shot, as we call it, because I could see you going, "Oh yeah, yeah." I thought that's the one he's. Oh yeah, now I know. That's yeah. That was bad. That was real bad. But come on, man. So you know what I'm talking about. So I don't need to go into the story. But come on, wasn't it so bad that it was almost good at least? I mean, it was painful. It was, but those guys are doing just Andy. I mean, and now I'm like, I wonder if the reaction would be different now that they're back to making money at it. They probably wouldn't recognize me if I came up to them again. I said the same thing. Would they still say, I don't know, whatever they tell us to do? Or would they all now say, what are you talking about? It's legit. Like, but I've got so many shows like that. I mean, that's the truth, is I can think of one, two, three, four, five, probably 7 or 8 shows that I could give like, no, this show is not legit and here's why. And not like, I don't know, like give concrete stuff. So I guess my question again, I didn't, my stories never get quite back around to where they were meant to. But my question, I guess, is really why it would matter to people. Like, why would people say I believed in that show, but then that guy from that old show said it was BS, and now I don't believe it anymore. I don't think it really makes a difference.
Well, I mean, what was your mindset after you were done on GHI and you went on and you did some things here and there? I mean, what was your mindset? Okay, I'm just going to go make some money.
Um, no, I didn't like the way it all went down at the end, and that's the untold story that I'm sure will remain that way. I don't even know what the official story you're supposed to tell is, but because they didn't do one on the show, so I'll leave it the way they left it. But I wasn't thrilled with the way it wound up.
Right.
So I wanted to do. It never really went the way. I'll be honest. It never went the way I had hoped. I thought that Haunting Australia, I had a chance to put my money where my mouth was and make a fantastic show that there was nothing I couldn't say. Well, the editors didn't do this, and the producer wasn't. I was in front of all that. I was a decision maker, and it really was nowhere near what I had hoped for. I think it was better than it it uh it did performance wise, but was it what I hoped for? If you said, "Hey, design your dream show,
Right.
pick whoever you want to do it with you, anyone you've seen on TV or a buddy of yours, I don't care if it's your cousin, whoever you want, you go where you want, you pick the camera guys if you know any, everything is yours." But the trade-off is now you have to accept the responsibility that and it's weird being in a GHI. I was just a cog, right? Like,
Right.
okay, idiot, turn the camera on, film tall guy looking for ghosts. This one, I had a hand in, like, okay, I don't like the way this and this location, the stories aren't good. Um, and I look back and, of course, second guess everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a prime example, right? It was Haunting Australia. It was an Australian show. It was not an American show. But if you could name, all right, this is a situation I was in. It almost happened. You need a person to do the voiceover.
Right.
You know, Ghost Hunters and GHI, we had it made, right? We
Right.
had the king. But over there, they said, well, we're gonna find someone. We have some ideas for who's gonna do the voiceover. So if you're doing a show in Australia that's gonna probably go pretty far around the world, you need an Australian to do the voiceover. Who would you guys want? And you can't say the knife guy. No
Steve Irwin.
Crocodile Dundee references.
I have no idea.
Steve Irwin.
Okay. I don't know.
The ghost of as presented on the radio, Steve Irwin. No, when I say it, you guys are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, Hugh Jackman."
Oh,
Oh, okay. I didn't know he was Australian, but all right.
yeah.
Yeah, so Hugh Jackman was supposed to do the narration for the show, because it's a 2 hour job. It's a quick little. It's not like he was like I hung out with him or could even like meet
Right.
him. Um, and then he had another filming obligation. He couldn't do it. If you've ever seen the show Border Patrol, it's
Order.
about the Australian airports and they bust like drug dealers trying to sneak in. Anyway, so the guy who does the narration on that did Haunting Australia. So it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't Wolverine. You know, if you do a show where Logan, if Wolverine does your
Right.
voiceovers, you're a badass.
Yeah.
Like you can just retire after that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're never gonna top it. So yeah, Haunting. I did Haunting Australia. I did Against Superstition in India, and then everything just kind of like it was a big shakeup where you slept with 700 women, and then there was stories of charges which never happened. It's just not true. I did not doing anything, but in this day and age, that's not good.
Right.
If
Right.
there's enough evidence, they would have brought charges. If there was any evidence, they would have brought charges. But because you don't get charged, you don't go to court. So there's no one saying you're innocent. You didn't do this because it never got that far. But for the people at home, they just go, "Yeah, didn't he? Yeah, I remember he had that thing with, So that happened. There was Grav from Haunting Australia committed suicide. A lot of bad stuff in a pretty short period. You know, yeah, and then to run smack into COVID and so if you ask like people say, what have you been up to? Nothing great. You know what I mean? Like trying to be a supportive, significant other because Amanda is far the superior investigator and talent than I. And I think she is much if she wanted that moment in the sun, your 15 minutes of fame we all get, then she could get it. But no, I mean, if they said right now, "Hey man, you want to go back on TV?"
Well, do you use your social media platforms at all to, like the rest of the YouTubers and TikTokers, or?
Yeah, man. Like, isn't that funny that that's supposed to be a thing, right? Like, well, somebody said, "Well, I read that you're worth this much for your social media." I said, who do I email here? Is there a phone number? Like, take them. Like,
Right.
by all means, And no, I mean, like the to be valuable, like this is what I was saying is that it's funny to watch the platformers fight the YouTubers. So it was the cable shows, and then the YouTubers showed up, and we'd fight. Then the new kids on the block showed up, or the streamers were like, "Well, we're on this channel." Then the YouTubers got big, and now everyone's like, the platformers hate the YouTubers and vice versa. And I've lost so much track. There's one person that is one of the platform people. I know who two of them are. One of them he seems all right. The other guy seems cool. I like him. Would I pay to watch his show? Yeah.
Right.
He ain't
Right.
that cool. Like maybe I mean, if I could get him like maybe in a nice singlet, little Jello maybe. I know
Well,
there's two of us here who would pay for that.
Nick, you must be the other one.
I'm definitely not the other one. Well, what I'm getting at is I don't watch any of the shows. I don't watch any of
What
the
if they
YouTube.
were in a singlet the entire show and left it without explanation?
Do what?
He's the investigator is in a singlet the entire episode, every episode, and never explains why he's doing it. For me, that makes the show better.
Touché.
I mean, I'm watching that.
I don't. You lost me for a minute.
No, I lose myself.
You went to the
on
Jello
like,
thing, and then you fucking lost me.
No, because I was, I guess it's because I was thinking of a particular YouTuber who would look quite entertaining in a singlet and his trademark cowboy hat.
Oh,
You
I know
see,
who you're talking about now.
figured we were so in tune that you'd get the reference I was going with, but without, it's nowhere near as funny if you're not thinking of the same person.
Funny thing is, he'd do it.
I would give $3.99 if he goes thumb and drops his equipment often. Yo, guys,
how do I say his wife?
Remember
His wife, she is a very lovely person. I like her.
who?
The person you're talking about.
Person you're
How
referencing.
do you know who I'm talking about?
All you had to say was cowboy hat.
I ain't
What?
saying.
Who doesn't
I'm not
enjoy
getting
a
the
good
fucking
cowboy
emails.
hat? All right, I don't care. I haven't said anything bad. I think he's a great guy. His name's Sam. He investigates with his buddy Kobe.
Oh, that's not who I was thinking of.
Who were you guys thinking of?
I'm not gonna say it either.
I'm
not a
all right,
fan of
now
Sam and
I'm
Colby.
I don't know Sam and Colby, and I will say this: I watched 5 minutes of one of their episodes, and I said I'm never watching this bullshit again.
That's funny you say that because I watched them and I was like, why am I investigating? These new kids are light years ahead of anything I could ever do. What the hell have I wasted my time for? Get them, Sam. You know what I mean? That's kind of my motto around the house.
Yeah.
Like if I want the dogs to get excited to go for a walk, I'm always like, "What's up, Kobe?" That's just my thing. Just a me thing. No, I mean, I'm sure you guys were thinking of someone else, and I mean, like, I'd watch Steve DeShavi in a cowboy hat.
Hey,
I've never seen it.
whenever you watching OnlyFans, that's your thing, buddy.
There's, Steve may be the one dude in the paranormal. I'm always like, yo, I'd love to hear that dude say something in my face. Steve would say it to my face.
Yeah.
That is one guy that anything I say, I know he will be. I better be backing it up.
He walks up to Steve DeShavi. Steve's like, Rob, get undressed and get in the fucking hot tub. And Rob's like, okay, sir. All right. Yes, sir.
I like the fact that you pretended that was the first time you've thought about that. And then it would be funny. It would be all funny if he was like rubbing his shoulders sensually. And it would be all crazy if like his hand slipped. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I can contact Steve for maybe a pay-per-view.
You're rubbing Steve's shoulders. You had a really rough time going out and getting all that research for the show, didn't you, buddy?
Steve, if you're listening, I apologize.
Like Steve cares.
Yeah, Steve.
He's like, what time are we filming? Yeah, pick me up at 2.
Right.
And he just goes wanders.
Why you
off
fucking shine my fucking detective ring so it looks really good in the fucking cameras, okay?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I know people who have been on that show and like they love the guy. He and I had a falling out over dumb shit, as I tend to do years ago, but he's in retrospect, he's a good dude. And that's rare for me. Most of the people I wouldn't be like, oh, I shouldn't have, maybe I was hasty. Like I can think of people right now that got blocked on Facebook. They know what they did. They know
Yeah,
what they
sure.
did.
You know
Yeah.
what you did.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name who it is. It might be Sean. It probably is. It is.
Probably.
But
Yeah, whatever.
no, I'm not. I'm not gonna say who it is. Let's keep that. Like some stuff doesn't need to be on the show.
I'm gonna name drop for you, buddy.
Who?
Jack Osborne.
It's funny. You hear a lot of words when you say that name. You thought, and they just come into your mind. Hero, legend, short, spoon. I'm getting spoon, darkness. Oh wait, I turned into an ovulus for a second. What do I have to say about Jack Osborne? It's not about Jack Osborne. But I will say this. And I don't. I love that people are like, that's not true. Okay, I made it up. All right, I'm gonna make something up for you guys. I came up with the idea for Haunted Highway. That didn't actually happen. That was totally not my idea. Everyone happy now? Like I didn't give the idea to the people who pitched it. I don't know who the original producers who sold it to Sci-Fi are. I don't know why Jack Osborne was kept on the show after his health announcement. I don't know any of that. I must be lying. How could I have come up with such a brilliant idea? So yeah, what did I think? One episode that I really liked with Jack Osborne. Go back and watch it. It's awesome, right? If you don't like Jack, which I don't care either way. I don't know him, right? How can I say, oh, I hate that guy? I don't hate anybody. Well, I don't hate like people I don't know. So he does. Dog is trapped. Come here, idiot dog. Well, you can't fit under the door anymore. Everyone's like, oh, Rob must have like a Rottweiler pit. He looks like a pity dude.
Don't you see my tough little dog? Like a woofa woofa woofa. And then we chew him on, yeah. Yum, 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 yum.
So, hey, y'all were forewarned, man. I don't know why anyone has me on their shows anymore. Like, it just seems like a bad idea. Jack Osborne goes and looks for the skinwalker. It sure as hell looked like they said it looks like a shadow of a man. Right. Go back and watch the episode. It's classic. So whoever I don't know who he was investigating with, but they go, "Hey Jack, check this out. Get ready to have your mind blown." And they show a video of a skinwalker. It's a shadow, obviously human shaped, human walking. I mean, it's got to be a shadow person skinwalker, right?
Yep.
You see it in Jack's head. So Jack's like, nah, probably like dust. And I know at that moment, every audio guy, every camera guy, every producer was going, no, Jack, do you see right there the arms? Maybe a sandstorm? so, so what seemed to be clearly staged evidence, he told them what they could do with it. And if you go back and watch that, tell me you don't like catch the underlying current of what's going on there. Like he said, yeah, that's not what I signed up for, and I respect him for that. I doubt he knows who I am or where the idea for the show even came from.
Right. I don't particularly have any problems with Jack. I mean, I know it was easy for him to slide into a genre just from his reputation and his family's reputation, and
Well,
you
I
know,
mean, was he? People say, well, he was really into it. Look at what he said on Haunted Highway. I'm like, yeah, okay. I came up with the fucking show idea.
right?
It was supposed to be Dustin Perry. Y'all want to be honest? Let's be real. It was supposed to be Dustin Perry and Angela Alderman. The people who they signed with a production company sold the rights to Sci-Fi. It was picked up by a different production company. I could go on, but I need not.
Right.
So, point of the monkey on the funky is that I doubt he knows. I do know that Jack Osborne, and he can deny it, I guess. Jack Osborne at one point did a reality show where he was going to be a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
He was there with Eric Estrada. And it was one of those like VH1 throwaway reality shows.
Right.
Well, that didn't work out for him. Next, he was into extreme sports. Look, how did I know it was extreme? They had a Z where the S should have been. I mean, come on. Those weren't skateboards. They were skateboards. That's hardcore. So for a while, Zach admitted his lifelong adoration of not becoming a police officer, but being into extreme sports. When that caught on, yeah, that didn't work out for him. Sorry, Jack, but you know it's true. People talk bad about all of us. Well, Jack wasn't done. Jack's a goddamn record producer. Got a reality show about that. And nobody's really digging that too much. Now I got a show. I'm going to be on the NBC's the new reunion Battle of the Stars. And this is true for NBC. And then he announced that he had was sick, and they cut him from the show, and he announced that he was going to sue, and then suddenly, everything was honky dory, and his show was renewed on Sci-Fi. So that's fact. That happened. So look, man, like, does the guy have a genuine interest, or is it a money grab, like last grasp at fame? I have no idea, man. I don't know him. If I sat down with him for an hour, I'm sure I could say, nah, he's legit. Or say, I don't really want to comment because, and then because he said in secret, look, man, I don't care about any of this stuff. This is just my. And that's fine if he does. Like, that's real if he says, this is just to make ends meet, man. I got a kid. Okay, cool. I don't have to.
I don't really think he's got to worry about money.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like, does Ozzy give him millions? Does Ozzy have millions? I have no idea. I do know. Here's a GHI story for you. We were filming in New Zealand, and we were standing in the lobby getting checked in, and Poison starts walking in, right, with their entourage, and not a big entourage, couple people. And Brian Harnwell's a huge Poison fan. So, it turns out, like, I forget if they said, like, just to be polite, I don't know, maybe it's true. Brett Michaels had watched the show and whatever. So Brett Michaels was there, and he said, "Hey, how you doing, man?" Like, had no idea who I was, so I knew he wasn't a big fan of the show, but whatever. So I was just like, "Hey, man, good to meet you." And he's like, "Yeah, you too." That was it. He was real cool, right? And I've never liked a Poison fan a song in my life. It's just not me. But cool. Okay. So we say, "What are you guys doing here?" "Oh, we're on tour with Ozzy." "What?" "Yeah, he's here." "Oh yeah." So we're all like jaw dropped, and they're like, "Well, we gotta get checked in." We're like, "Cool." Like, waiting for Ozzy, obviously. They're like, so somebody needs to call Ozzy's guys, make sure he's checked in over at the Waldorf. I should have known. Like, so Ghost Hunters was Ozzy Osbourne at the Waldorf. GHI was at the No-Tell Motel with Poison. That about breaks down the dichotomy, the identity of our shows. And Ghost Academy likes Menudo.
Ever get to investigate with somebody that, famous wise, you're like, oh my God, this guy was cool. Like,
Um, I'm not doing that like a dick. Like, no, I haven't investigated with anyone like me. I'm just trying to think back, like who. Josh Gates is really funny. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't really there to investigate. He was kind of just doing his Josh Gates shtick. So
right.
that was fun. That was cool. He was very much, if you said, here's how I imagine meeting Josh Gates if he's just like TV, here's how I'd imagine it would go. And that's exactly how it would go. He is the same. There is no on off. Like that's Josh Gates.
Josh.
He's just a big personality. So, who else have I investigated with? Gaurav had a show on MTV before he and I hooked up, so that was great to work with him. Um, I did like when Ryan Buell and I did an event together. We just did like a lecture, in state college. So I didn't really work with him. We just kind of like talked shop, and really intelligent guy. It was really cool to talk to him. But yeah, as far as like, if you said, well, okay, and if I have to answer, you guys have to answer. You got to pick one person that all of us know, right? So you can't go, oh, Bob from my team, he's the best. No, you got to pick someone that's common to all of us, right? Living or passed on, one person you go, man, I want to investigate with that person. I don't care why. They're funny. They're the best investigator. They're whatever. So I'll go first. All right, well, you can't use your significant others. That falls in with teammates. Got to be somebody everybody knows. So if I'm going first, who would I really want to investigate with that I haven't? Aaron from Ghost Adventures, I think would be. It would be a fantastic time. I don't think you would do serious documentation, but you'd have
Right.
a great evening of it. As far as like someone that Kieran O'Keefe, Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, who was on Most Haunted, would be on the list, despite Most Haunted, which I'm sure he would tell you all about.
Right.
So yeah, so all right, that's two from me. You guys, you get two now.
One of them wasn't really
No, no,
expect.
I'm sorry. I know where you're going with this. Not me. Not me.
You were my second one, Rob.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
No, I got a phone call one night. Me and my significant other at the time from Jonathan Davis of Corn, and we got to. He came down to our building at the time and investigated with us for about 6 hours. That was cool. Great dude.
Big
I mean,
time.
I know
Even
Corn music. I'm not really a huge fan of it.
same. But if I found out that guy, Darth Vader, when I did a Comic-Con in New York, the actor who's Darth Vader now, I just got a phone call. Hey, Darth Vader wants you to come walk around Times Square with him and tell him about ghosts. What?
Yeah, man.
Like I'm a nobody. Like at my
Yeah.
height, I was a nobody, right? Like don't get confused. There's only one name who has kind of broken over the hump of Ghost Hunter into mainstream, and that's Zach. So here I am, Joe Nobody. So if the dude from Star Wars or the lead singer of Korn calls me up and is like, "Hey, if Jelly Roll, the country musician,
Oh,
called me
he'd
up
be a
and said, I want
fucking
you to show me
riot.
one of them ghosts," I don't listen to his music, but I'd be like, "Oh hell yeah, let me
Yeah.
drop whatever I'm doing and do it," because it just look. I mean, I do these. When I did the signings, right, where the banners are from, I would meet people that my jaw would drop. I was the biggest mark. Like, and we were talking about this, that like I met Jake the Snake Roberts. I met Mick Foley. I met, a lot of the old school guys, the Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I would just be like, you make the welterweight with your drum behind the book, and boom, and boom, and then you get the belt. Then you're going to beat them next time, get that belt. And they're like, that's very good. Are you going to watch? Yeah, I'm going to watch. And they pat me on the back and off I go. But seriously, like I meet these guys and I'm like, holy, that is whomever, and then some of them you're like, so and so's a dick. like you forget like these people are real and that they're not who you thought they were, and you go, wow, what a jerk. And one of the things my dad told me is that there's a study that to get to the short of it, you remember people who were dicks to you, like famous people or pseudo famous.
Mhm.
If they were a jerk to you, you will repeat that story 7 times more.
Yep.
And we'll do it and we'll maintain it longer. It won't
Yep.
fade in the number of times you tell it. If I was just cool, I was a nice guy, nice enough, shook hands, we talked for a minute. You don't remember me a year from then. But the guy that was a dick, oh, you remember him. So doing these conventions, I've met people that I was like, most of them I go, yeah, I did meet them. Yeah, they seem nice. But the ones that were like dicks, I can name them any time of day without much thought. I don't have to go, wait, who was the one? I can name them. You want me to drop one?
No, I just
You said what the fuck did you just say to me? That I won't drop one? What?
I don't
Say it
think you can
again.
do it.
Say it again, you
I
won't.
don't think you do it. You ain't got the
Really?
balls.
Loretta Swit, Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH. Boom. How you like me now? You just ruined her goddamn career. I hope you're proud of yourself.
I'm sure.
There goes her award. No,
All right, Sean, what's yours too?
she was a jerk. Oh yeah. We still need the two.
Yeah, that's easy. You said living or dead, so one of them, Lorraine Warren, absolutely, 100%, and Sean Austin.
Okay, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not going to touch number one, because that's a pretty sensitive subject that people get very touchy about. So I'm just going to leave that to people to think what they want. I respect that, and because I don't know either, right? I've heard stories, you've heard stories, and that's true of everyone, right? As far as number two, Sean was from. Is that I want to say 28 Days Haunted?
Yeah, and we had an opportunity to do a small investigation with him in Gettysburg, and I would love to do a much longer one because it was an amazing experience with him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys that I've said I'd love to do it with a much longer one, but it was still a great experience.
Yeah,
and that's always been kind of my motto.
Yeah, so those are my two.
I don't know. I'm different. Like I don't get starstruck. I just view people as people. I would rather investigate with up and coming teams.
All right, forget investigating. Who would you meet that you'd be like, I can't believe I'm sitting here next to, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, Oprah, because she's so famous. Who for you would be like,
Oprah's a bitch.
Man. Who?
Oprah's a bitch.
This is true.
Oh, so who would you meet? There's got to come on, man. You can't.
James Gandolfini.
There you go. You meet that. I sat next to Big Pussy at New York Comic Con, and he's just loud and abrasive, just like his character, and I'm sure he'd agree with that. I had to deal with a day of it. He's just, hey, signing fucking autographs over here, huh? Huh? Am I fucking invincible? And he's sitting right next to me. I'm like, Jesus, dude, shut up, please. Go take a break. But yeah, James. I'm sorry, his name escapes me, but as far as some of the people I've met, So, little backstory. When I was a little kid, we were poor as dirt, right? So my mom had enough money that we got VCR, but we only had like 2 tapes.
Mm.
One of them happened to be The Toy with Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I've seen that probably more than Richard Pryor had. Like, we only had one channel that was snowy, and someone had taped The Toy on their TV on there and gave us the tape, and I'd just watch it, right? So no one else would really care that much. But when I met Master Bates at a Comic-Con, I had then learned that he had his backstory, which is that he didn't have much success after The Toy. He started producing adult films, then went on to star in a number before leaving that lifestyle behind.
Okay.
Okay, no, here's where it's going. Okay, so I gotta keep life unique, right? When I get your autograph, if you're famous, I come up to you. I'm not gonna pick up one of your 8x10s off your table and say, "Hey, can you sign that?" I am gonna give you something that you're gonna. There's 100 people in line. When you see what I'm asking you to sign, you're gonna be like, "What the bro?" And that makes it fun. It really does. I'll give you a perfect example. I went to do either of you know who Roger Bumpus is?
Uh-uh.
Doesn't sound familiar.
He's a voiceover artist that you would probably know as being the voice of Squidward from SpongeBob.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, neat.
I don't know if you're blowing smoke up my ass, but I'm just
No,
gonna say
no.
okay.
This I'll tell you. Like, okay. Well, then it wouldn't be funny if I was like, "Hey, I'm going to tell you a story that's a setup for a gag." It's all bullshit. Just don't pay attention for 3 minutes. Come back for the punchline. That's all I got tonight. Sorry. Um. So no, Roger Bumpus does the voice of Squidward. I stood in line. And I went up to him. He only had a couple people, and I handed him my VHS copy of House Party 2, Pajama Jammy Jam on VHS, and he went, "I wasn't in this." You're not kid or play. So I said, replied to Mr. Bumpus, "I know." And I kept my money held across the table and my VHS copy right there. He repeated, "I wasn't in this."
He didn't want to fucking sign it.
Sign House Party 2 on VHS. Dance, monkey, dance. I own you now. so he finally signs it, right? And he writes in all capitals, Squidward, and underlines it 3 times. So I had you ever watch Buck Rogers in the 21st Century?
No.
Long
He
time
was a
ago.
little robot who went tweedle tweedle tweet.
Meanie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I met him. He was doing a signing, and I gave him a DVD. He got to step up copy of The Shining. And cute little guy. Hey, inappropriate. He turned to his manager. He said, "Was I in this?" "No." He signs it and hands it back to me. I met Tara Reid. I did a couple events she was at. And I walked up and I gave her the Johnny figure from Karate Kid. And I said, "Yeah, my name's Rob." And she went, "Uh-huh. You're up." I swear, of all the people I've met, you could explain why, but this was the one person that she is signing an action figure of Johnny from Karate Kid and doesn't bat an eye. It's just like, yeah, of course I'm signing that. Duh. So that one was one of my favorites. And getting the what you would know Master Bates from is I Triple Dog Dare You. Remember the kid who gets his tongue stuck on the pole in the winter from A Christmas
Christmas
Story?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
him.
No shit.
So yeah, so he filled it out and he said, and wasn't it cute? He signed it. I triple dog dare you. Right, that's fun. And he signed it, and I said, yeah, if you could just put Master Bates. Everything kind of paused for a second there. Time just kind of, I swear, time just like stood still for an instant where it was like the universe ground to a halt, and he just looked at me and then looked back down at it, and he went, "It's not really any room." This is, you want to talk about a normal social situation gone horribly wrong? This is a true story. My young son at the time is grabbing my arm, going, "It's okay, Dad. It's true. There's no room." I said, "There's room.
His room. Write it. Write it.
You
There's
think I
always
don't
room
have an
for
autograph that
Bates.
says Master Bates? Come on.
Oh,
There's
sure
one.
you do.
There's one I backed out of. Even I get humbled. And here's what happened. I went up and I was Latoya Jackson, as many people know, graced the cover of Playboy with Michael if he was a 12-year-old female. It was very odd to say the least.
Mhm.
Now, who are you going to have sign that? Many uneducated people, maybe 72%, would say Latoya Jackson, right? No.
Okay.
Wise man says the guy who played Big Bird on Sesame Street, right? Thinking two steps beyond. Yeah. If
Sean,
you thought it had gone wrong already, it gets worse. I go up to this gentleman holding a Playboy with Latoya Jackson. Nobody told me dude was in his 80s and had had a stroke. Not that funny when I see his wife holding his damn hand to sign things, and I am holding Latoya Jackson.
oh my God.
And I was like, red alert. I ditched the magazine and like had him sign like one of his little 8x10s. But I was like, I would have, I was fine. I was doing well. And then it got to like his wife had to sign, like hold his hand to sign. I was like, even I am not that heartless. You know what I mean? But I thought about it. I was like, that's a, you know, bringing it back to ghost hunting. You guys ever do? I'll use the PC term. You ever do a gut check when you do an investigation? You've done so many investigations that you go, it's boring.
Yeah.
Kind of want to go up to that one room that nobody's even anywhere near, and I'm not going to bring anybody with me. I'm going to wait till nobody's paying attention, and I'm going up there by my damn self just to make sure I can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like those are absolutely key moments. And having investigated where they had crackheads roaming the supposedly haunted place, you want to have seen it all. Now, I would say the best investigator that I haven't had the opportunity to investigate with. It's a good question, right? Like, why would you choose an investigator? Now,
Right.
Sean has a point, right? Sean says, well, I can tell you why, because I don't have to spend half my damn time explaining how to do it. And she's a gifted medium. And so she already is going to be a wealth of information. It's going to change the way I look at investigating. Okay, winner. We got check mark. That worked. But I think, would you investigate someone who's up on the current, like, things to use, like The
No.
moment they break out a random word generator, I'm done.
Right.
You know, I always say, why do people spend their money? Because all you need to do is, and people say you're being facetious and you're being a dick. Well, I'm always being a dick. That's factual. But I'm only being somewhat facetious. What if you take an encyclopedia or a dictionary, whatever you kids have these days? We had abacuses. And you say, I'm asking for the spirit of James to guide me, right? And you flip it open and you slam your finger down. And whatever word it lands on, that's what the ghost is trying to convey. He's going to guide your finger down, right?
Okay.
I mean, isn't that just as valid as like a Tempest, Ovulus, Puck, any of the apps that do the same thing? Like, what's the difference between? Now they say, well, there's a big difference. It it checks the EMF. The ghost comes in, right? Rob, you're such a dick. It's so obvious. Ghost comes in, and he's like, hey man, I want to talk. And you're all like, we'll use this box, bro. And the ghost is like, what the front? There's 13,000 words. And I'm all like, well, all you gotta do,
Yeah.
find the combination of temperature, EMF, magic 8 ball, flipping coins, pendulum, dowsing rod. You know what I mean? Like, so it says, well, it's not the same as just putting your finger down. No, it doesn't do anything. It's random. It's
Random.
really random. But the difference is, and this is what I was really getting at, is because you're using an ovulus and I'm using the patented Robb D method of dictionary pointing,
Okay.
which one of us science accepts. It doesn't matter who, it's me. So the point is that, like, what really makes yours more valid than mine? Yours has 3,000 words to choose from. You know what's probably not in there is going to be like kitten, rainbow, spoon. Well, if you have 3,000 words to choose from, aren't you going to pick ones that are going to relate? Murder, grave,
But
cold.
the new Ovilus has cuss words in it now. I mean, it makes it more genuine.
Bingo. That's what the hell. I was
What it
like,
is.
there's no way they're putting legitimacy into this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it now says fuck. So
Yeah, because you know what? That's the ghost is like, you know what? If you want a foot, I didn't say foot. I said foot. Gosh darn! Poor ghost has been trying to swear for years. And he's like, nobody said hug Zach Baggins.
there's one meme that goes around. I fucking love it. It's a woman and it's a little ghost woman next to her. And the lady's looking at it, she says, the ghost says his name's Bart. And the ghost is looking at him, he's like, I didn't say that. I said I want to fart.
Good.
I crack up on that.
Like, but that nails it, doesn't it? If you say there's 5,000 words, the ghost, like, so you're saying it's scientific, but aren't you kind of like relying on as much belief, if not more, than I am? I'm asking the ghost, to guide my finger and pull it, and what you're doing is fast forwarding, but you're putting the words so it relates to what you're doing, and you can draw conclusions. I don't.
It's no
They're
different
both
than
stupid.
it's no different than the EVPs. Think about it. Maybe 10% of what you call class A EVPs, or however you want to categorize it, where if you played it, everybody be like, yep, that's what this says. 100%. But the rest of them, everybody can agree, all right, yes, that's a female voice, and you hear something, but I hear dinosaurs. Sean says my motorcycles, and you you heard elephant. But
Okay.
we all agree it's a female toned voice, but we have no idea what the word says.
Right, and there was no woman there, and no one was talking. Well, here's a misconception, right? It has to do with the fact that a lot is 2 words.
Mhm.
I would give you a lot for your car, meaning one lot of whatever I've got packaged up. But over time, it took on a new meaning and became one word. Wow, that's a lot of that. That's not what it means. But okay. So why do I bring that up? Because I think that's exactly, what you're saying is that when okay, to get right to it, a class A EVP means what? It means 5 out of 5 of us, and this is right per your example. You come to me and you go, Rob, I got an EVP. I'm not going to play you the question I asked. I'm not going to tell you what I think it says. I'm just going to play you
Right.
a voice. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. What do you just write down what you think it says? Sean, I'd like you to do the same. So Sean and I listened to it, and we both wrote down mayhem. And we say, well, can we see yours? And you turn around and mayhem. We get 2 more people. 5 out of 5 all heard a man saying mayhem. That is a Class A EVP. But over time, there's a real number system. But
Right.
over time, a Class A EVP has come to just mean it's a really good one. A really good one is not Class A. No, but it's so loud. That's not Class A. Do you know what Class A even is? Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
No. And that's really, if you watch TV, how many times you said it yourself. You're sitting next to each other on the couch, right? And they go, at that point, we listened and heard the word danger. So they just front loaded it. They just put it in both your heads.
Yeah.
Right? And so they play it. And then at the bottom of the screen, GHI did it too.
Yeah.
Come on now, be fair. At the bottom of the screen, danger. Right along with it. And we'll repeat it a couple times. Now watch. Danger, danger, danger. Sounds almost like danger. I'm hearing danger. So that's a horrible test. The real test, even when they say, listen to this. How many of you are here? Right? 7. Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of sounded like 7 a little bit, but it almost seems like you're grasping the nearest number that it sounds like.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what if you cut off the question? Now play it for me. Okay. Devin, what did it say? I don't know. Tevin? Tevlin? Is it a name? No.
Right.
So context is everything. Front loading is everything. There's only one way you should play an EVP, and that is with no front loading, no telling people what they're going to hear, no telling them even what the history of the location was, because we're smart, right? You go, this is where James committed suicide, and then you play it, and you just hear, suicide? Holy crap! That's what our brains. That was how our brains.
No, you're
function without
1000%. You're 1000% correct.
But that's how our brains work. They're meant to trick us like that. It saves us from the wild that we can tell a predator. Like we have these. We don't need to look at every tree. We just need to look for those lights.
Well, yes,
right?
you do. You have to zoom in all the way towards pixelated and
What
stare
the
at
hell?
it till you
Put a
see the fucking
circle on that
face.
mother sucker.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Put a
mean,
circle.
like, and then the reality is, then we wind up in this field where nothing has any value anymore, right? Remember we talk about the holy grail of ghost hunting. Now, have you seen a show that doesn't have at least 1 or 2 holy grails?
Right.
Everybody's taking pictures of these little bastards. Where'd they go? Woo, snap away. It's like Pokemon out there. Everyone's catching them so fast. So it gets back around to the same old thing I say, which is there's one of 2 things. Does are there people in the entertainment that enjoy the entertainment, but also are doing legitimate research into the paranormal? Does that group exist? If not, is there a separate group that is still doing research into ghosts that doesn't give a rat's ass, has no idea who Zach or myself or Jason or Ryan or anyone else? He doesn't know who any of us are, nor does he care. He laughs at us.
Right.
But you know what? I'm okay with that. I hope that guy is out there. I hope there's thousands of them that just sit back and think they think it's funny to watch us goof around on TV. But at least I know somebody is doing something good, because I don't see this microwave group. And I don't say age. Everyone says, millennials, Gen Y, Gen X, baby boomers. No, man. We've all been taught that our justification should be, or gratification should be, instant. So we've said, oh, screw all this sitting all night. Just, if you get an EVP, you don't even know you got it, right? So you spent 2 hours just talking to yourself in a room, and you're not even going to get anything out of it. Hopefully, you might get a little blip the next day, right? So it's not a shocker that people of all ages are drawn to microwave equipment. Walk in, turn on your device wherever you are, and just get chatting with them ghosts. What do you kids say? Get your ghost on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
By
I
the
don't
way,
know.
if kids don't say that, they should.
I can barely. To me, one, I don't want to be there all night. I really don't.
Yeah, were you ever in the Die Hard camp? I was.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the beginning, yeah. I'm like, I gotta
Right?
be.
Like, but that was a badge of honor, right? Like, remember when we were all part of the cool kids club that were like, they quit at 3 a.m. amateurs, right? And now, like 10 years later, we're all like, "God, my back, yeah, look at this guy running for president." Like, nobody. It used to be this competition. Like, man, I was there 9 straight hours. Now they're like, I was investigated, and out the door in 3 minutes. It's not haunted, by the way. The ghost said so. So it's like, here's another question. Let's say, who wants to be a true believer? One of you has to take the role.
Oh, we're gonna let Sean take this role.
Sean?
Sean's gonna be the true believer.
Okay.
Sean hates playing along.
No,
but we're going to get him to play along on this one. Sean,
No.
you are going to be a true believer. And this is a legit question. I'm not mocking you. It's not a setup. You're a true believer in the SB7 type devices.
Okay.
That is speaking to the spirits of the deceased. All right. So you're a true believer. That's just what you believe, right? So I have a question for you, Sean.
Are you ready?
I'm just making sure that he's in character. If he does, see, y'all are stubborn like me. I will sit here all night till he says, yeah, "I'm ready."
I said I was ready 5 minutes ago.
I needed the. Oh no!
Did his phone die?
Uh-oh. It says he's still there.
Well, we'll give it a few and see if Rob returns. If not, I love this dude.
This is definitely a good one.
He's a no bullshit.
He needs to write a book.
Tell it like it is, and I don't know. To me, you just need more people like that, especially in his stature. not be Mr. You know,
Mr.
go with the
PC.
flow, yes sir, yes ma'am shit.
Yeah.
And he admits it that he has been at that person at some point,
Yeah.
you know. But of course, he comes to the realization, down the line, and you know, like me personally, you know me, Sean. I don't listen. I don't watch the YouTubers. I don't watch TikTok.
Right.
I don't even watch the shows I'm on. I
Right.
don't watch the TV shows. But I'm telling you right now, if Rob was to get on, to start doing TikTok lives in YouTube investigating, I would fucking watch it.
Yeah. Because
Seriously.
you're gonna get some
It's going to
real
be interesting.
legitimate stuff out of that. Yeah.
So, definitely a fun night, definitely a fun interview. And I told you before we got up on here, I said, we're in for a treat.
Yes, we
This guy's a
definitely were.
character. So.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to ask the three famous questions to him. But that's okay. That's okay. Maybe we'll have him on again down the line, and we can get him those three questions in. And
No, definitely.
if you guys have never watched it, especially you newer generation people, get a chance, watch Ghost Hunters International,
Absolutely.
and it it's just totally different. It's a totally different aspect. You're in a totally, obviously in multiple different countries. You're in Europe. You're traveling around to castles and structures that some are 1,000 years old, if not older, and they're investigating these places. But here's the kicker: it's not only that, let's say you go to Spain and you are investigating a castle in Spain that is 1,000 years old. Okay, yes, they speak Spanish, a different dialect of Spanish in Spain
Right.
today, right? But 1,000 years ago, the dialect of Espanol or Spanish was completely different. So the mindset is, if you are talking to a spirit bound or a ghost that's earthbound, that's from that time period, even a person in today that's translating for you would have difficulty doing that to something being that old.
Yeah.
Here in America, we're only a few hundred years old, so we don't really have that problem over here unless you're trying to speak to something Native American or in that aspect, but it's a totally different ball game. It's a totally different ball game when you try to go internationally and paranormal investigate it. It takes it to a whole new level. So if you get a chance, definitely watch it. GHI, Ghost Hunters International. um Rob was the lead guy on that TV show. It was very interesting. I loved the show. I know Sean liked the show.
Yeah.
So get a chance, check it out, and get a chance, privately message Robb Demarest. Don't know which person you're going to talk to.
Whether or not you get the real one is 50-50 chance.
And definitely go on OnlyFans and check out his feed account.
Yeah.
I
And
think he's
Nick's too, coming soon.
coming soon. Yes, you're going to get some fat
Some
pinky
Hobbit
toes with
feet.
some whipped cream.
Hobbit feet.
So we appreciate you as usual, guys, checking out and listening to us. And this was definitely a special episode. We probably could have went another hour with Rob. He's one of those characters. He's cool, and hopefully we'll get him back on the podcast here in the near future, and
Yep.
go from there.
Indeed.
All right, Mr. Sean. We got
Past my
anything
bedtime.
else? Huh?
Past my bedtime.
I could tell. I could tell.
I don't
Again,
think I have anything else for today.
if you guys are in the area, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, October 28th, we are holding an event at Middle Point School in Middle Point, Ohio. It's $50 for investigating, 7 p.m., 3 a.m. You will get a custom T-shirt with Old World Paranormal Society on it with the haunted Middle Point School. We will feed you. We will give you drinks for the evening. You will hang out with us and the likes of me and Sean and the rest of our lovely team, and we'll have a good time. We'll have a spooky time the weekend before Halloween. So,
Absolutely. Looking forward to that.
all right, Sean. Well, we'll be back Thursday
We sure will.
with the wonderful Brandon Johnson.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay.
Then after that, one of my favorite teams of all time, Pathfinders, Paranormal. Now you talking about cast of characters. Can't wait for that one. So, as always, episode 81 in the books. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Mr. Robb Demarest, for being on from Ghost Hunters International.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rob, even though you're not here. And you're here with us in spirit right now.
The Bolivarian province of Venezuela. Thank you. And all the way to India, to Russia, to everywhere else. We appreciate you. And until next week.